So the mod that I'm going to show in this video is called the 1648 30 Years War, a mod that is based on that time that is shrouded in mystery for the Total War fans, the pike and shot era that many, if not all the historical fans, we are willing to see that in a new title announced for the future of the historical titles. However, the good old Medieval 2 has this magnificent mod based on that time. Now, first, before going into the mod and showing a little bit of the mechanics for those that are struggling a little bit with the quite different things that happen in this mod in comparison with the vanilla one, I'm going to go for the Grand Campaign and show you the factions that you can find here. Now, as you may know, for those that are familiar with mods in Medieval 2, when you are in this screen, if you click for more than 5 times, you're going to get a CTD, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this mod has that bug. So I'm just going to go around for the major ones, and then I'm going to tell you what are the other factions. So the first faction we can see here is the Kingdom of Sweden, led by Gustavus Adolphus Magnus, which is a crucial figure in this time period, a revolutionary of the military in its time, the Lion of the North, which is perhaps the main faction in this time period. So we have the Kingdom of Sweden. Of course, we have the Kingdom of France with the King Louis XIII Bourbon, and of course Richelieu, Cardinal Richelieu. Then we have the Imperial Archduchy of Austria, which is the faction, the Catholic faction of the Holy Roman Empire. This is the Habsburg monarch imperial house in conjunction with the Habsburg imperial house of the Kingdom of Spain, which are the same families in this time period. We have the Old Swiss Confederacy, which is the Switzerland, the Union of Utrecht, which is the 7 united provinces, the Republic of the 7 united provinces, which is nowadays Holland, another important faction in this time period. We have the Duchy of Brunswick. Duchy of Brunswick is part of the city-states that formed the Holy Roman Empire. The Electorate of Saxony, the Duchy of Prussia, or more likely the Prussian Brandenburg Electorate, which then will become Prussia. County Palatine of the Rhine, which is another important faction, with Frederick V, the emperor elected by the Protestant factions of Germany, the Winter King, for those that know the history. Duchy of Württemberg, Electorate of Mainz, the Kingdom of Denmark, Norway. You can see a little bit of the tip of the Scandinavian peninsula here. The Duchy of Bavaria, Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, which is the Polish union with the Lithuanians, or more likely the Poland. And with Poland you have that very famous unit, the Winged Hussars, which is pretty neat. You have the Archbishopric of Bremen, Kingdom of Spain, as I mentioned before, Bohemian States. Very interesting to play with the Kingdom of Spain. Bohemian States is one of the crucial factions of the era. We have the Electorate of Cologne here in the Rhine, Margraviate of Baden-Durlach, Landgraviate of Hesse, Electorate of Trier, and the Principality of Bayreuth, which, if I'm not mistaken, is Bayern. So you can change the rules with a long or a short campaign, as you wish. So with that being said, we are going to go right now and load the save that I have here. Actually, I'm going to load a couple of saves that I have prepared to show some of the main mechanics of the actual mod. Where do we start? So to start, there are several mechanics. Concerning diplomacy, you have an interesting thing happening with diplomats. That is,
yes, my lord,
for this guy. Of course, in settlements you have the normal settlements, and you're going to have minor cities that I'm going to talk about as well. And I'm going to talk about interesting mechanics about supplies that every general has. So, where to begin? Beginning with the diplomacy, for example.
Your Majesty.
In this mod you have this central area in which you're going to find all of the diplomats representing one of each faction. This area is closed. It's a closed area in which the diplomat is not able to cross,
yes, my lord,
as you can see. The reason the mothers did this is because the map is humongous. You can see I'm going to go north. Let me go north. This is tremendously big, as you can see. So I'm going to go to this extreme, which is France, and then I'm going to move all the way to Poland. And you're going to see right now we're crossing the here you can see the Rhine. We're crossing that. Down here you're going to see Switzerland here, and then you follow here to Bohemia. We're entering the area of Bohemia, and then we're going to go to the area of Poland. Because of the size of the map, of course you can have a diplomat like this in one of your settlements, but
orders.
Let's say that this is a diplomat. It's going to be very, very tedious to move around in the map, you can see. So to make things easier, you have the option,
yes, my lord,
to use the central diplomat within the Chamber of Diplomats. Let's call this place the Chamber of Diplomats. But as you know, you are constrained by the diplomatic system of Medieval 2, which is not a very, very advanced diplomatic system. It is what we got.
yes, my
but
lord,
at least you can interact with all the other factions more quickly, one at a time. So that is for diplomacy. Then we have the situation with the generals. Every general has a new trait that is unique in this mod, which is the supply trait. With supplies, the modder tried to make a more historical, accurate situation when the armies move. When the armies are on the march, historically, they would have to find their own food in the places that they invade and bring all the baggage from home to the place that they were going. To represent that, we have supplies. So this trait is separated in different levels. We have supply, then we have the level of full supply, then we have the level of supply, which I'm going to show you right now.
Your will, sire.
With him, you have the next level, which is supplied, and it says that the army has enough supply. So that means that because he is right now here in Prague, which is not
my lord,
the faction's territory, so every time that you are in a territory that is not yours,
my lord,
the level of supplies is going to decrease. Right now because you can see this is not the first turn, he's been here for 6 turns now, he is supplied. But he is in an allied territory. I'm not sure if allied territory have an impact, but I think it have. So now he is supplied. But there are, for example, others. The next level you're going to find here is this one, foraging. Foraging means that as supplies run out, this general statement is to loot the local population and to live off the land. Thus the men are less prepared for a fight, but good tactics can overcome any disadvantage, giving you -2 morale for this level. Now the reason that his level of supply has been decreased is because he is inside this area, which is not part of his faction. He is in another faction's area. It doesn't matter if he is inside this. Actually, this is going to be treated as a fort, but I'm going to talk about in a little bit about forts here. And then when you continue the other turn, when you hit end turn and you are still in enemy territory, you're going to get the next level, which, if I'm not mistaken,
hail my king,
is Desperate for Supplies. Desperate for Supplies, as you can see, is -4 morale for soldiers and -10% movement points as time gets lost due to foraging. So you're going to start to have penalties in moving your troops with this level. And finally you have
hail my king,
the last, which for some reason is bugged. It's bugged out because he should have the hunger supply trait. Hunger, apart from being the next level down from Desperate for Supplies, then the next one is Hunger. Hunger is going to give you -8 morale for soldiers, and it's going to double the penalty for movement points. Is going to be -20%. For some reason I'm not able to show you the actual trait shown in a general, because right now that I loaded this, it has disappeared. He must have this, but he doesn't. I think that's a bug. Surely when I hit here and turn, this is going to be debugged, and finally you're going to be able to see. But instead of doing that, I'm going to show you the other mechanic that is very important by loading this other match that I have with the Kingdom of Spain. As you can see, this is a more advanced year, so quite a few turns have passed. 82. I am in right now with this. I am in the turn number 82. But with this, I can show you the other things that I couldn't with the other example. For example, supply wagons. You are able to recruit supply wagons within the fort main settlements, which are listed here. These are the settlements, and apart from that you have the minor cities such as this. In minor cities you cannot recruit nor build. However, these are going to be treated as forts, as I mentioned before. If you are familiar with Empire has this sort of fort mechanic. In here, forts, for example, are going to allow you to put troops inside without upkeep. For example, here inside this fort we have 5 unit cards here that are blue. I'm gonna show you the normal unit cards that are grayed out. These grayed out unit cards means that you are paying upkeep for this. However, this one is blue, so this means that you are not paying upkeep for that, and it's going to be good for your finances here. So you're going to see here army upkeep. This is just for the unit cards that are grayed out. How do you do this? Whichever troop that is inside a fort, unless it's not more than 5, you're going to have them, the most expensive ones are going to be set as free upkeep troops. For example, if right now you can see 5 here, so most expensive 650, this one is 410, and this is 250. If I put, for example, another one, let's say this one, and I put it inside here, this is the 6th unit inside, so it's going to replace the cheapest one, and then you're going to have the free upkeep for the 5 more expensive units that you have inside that fort. So no more than 5, you're going to always have free upkeep, so that is to take into account. And the supply wagons that you can recruit, I wanted to add that you can recruit supply wagons with the, let me find it here in trade, with the marketplace. The marketplace allows you to train supply wagons. So what basically the supply wagons make are, for example, you have this army without a supply wagon, so normally this in an enemy territory has the trait of supply, and it's going to go down for each level, full supply, supplied, then it's going to go down for foraging, desperate for supply, so on and so forth. But if you have the supply wagons, that means that you are taking with you a little bit an extra supplies with you, if you know what I mean. So then when you are in enemy territory, the trait is going to decrease more slowly. Of course, if you maintain your troop, for example your general, inside a settlement more than 1 or 2 turns, if I'm not mistaken, you can have abundance. Abundance means that this general has more supplies than the normal supplies, so this increases morale, but of course is going to the army is going to move slowly, because of course, because of the large number of wagons, money, changers, horse and family that you have inside here, inside your wagons. So abundance is an extra level, a positive level, but for more morale you are not going to be able to move much more further. And of course the other thing that is going to affect that is the weather, that if you can see here, winter, it says that movement distance is reduced by 30% in winter. Another thing that you're going to find, let me show you, for example, another settlement that I have here, for example the capital here. Here in the capital city I have a marketplace. Of course the marketplace, you can clearly increase the levels of the marketplace For example, here in as I showed you before, you can go up in the ranks of the building, of the actual building. You can go for a weekly market, fairground, trade fair, and futures market, and each one of these is going to increase the tradable goods. And of course, the more you have, the best level you have, the more you're going to have in your projected profits. And there's the mechanic that once a year there's the so-called yearly fair, in which tradable goods are going to be greater in April or March, according to the time. Those were the times in which cities had a lot of trade influx because of the fairs of the time. So the actual mod is going to reflect that in the economy once a year between April and March. So with that being said, I think I have covered pretty much the important things about this mod. Now, of course, you can recruit all sorts of agents. You can recruit priests that are going to be dependent on your faction's religion. Of course, this is a Catholic religion. Spain is a Catholic religion, and because this is the time in which Protestants and Catholics, both ideologies, are going to be crucial on the 30 Years' War. So are a crucial part of the 30 Years' War. So you can fight with heretics. You can recruit as well merchants.
Kaiser.
You can recruit diplomats and assassins and spies. Of course, you have to have certain buildings to do that. For example, to recruit merchants, you need to have at least a market. You can recruit merchants with markets. You can recruit spies with diplomatic academies. You can recruit spies, assassins, and diplomats. And finally, priests. Of course, if you're Catholic, with churches, Catholic collegiates, church, and things like that, you can recruit priests. And with reformators, I think you can recruit priests with the Protestant factions, which I am not able to show you here because this faction is Catholic. So with that being said, I can clearly say that so far this mod has been a blast for me. It's a very, very good mod, and I recommend the mod for those that are looking for a pike and shot experience in the Total War fashion. Hope it was very helpful, and that's it. See you later.